I just got back from a conference on the Gold Coast, and it's all about e-commerce and stuff. That's a big part of my life. I got to thinking about learning, and I got to thinking about when I was 50 and I started to learn how to play guitar, I did something that most people don't do, and that is I didn't learn how to play guitar. And if I was studying again, this is why. Don't learn how to play guitar. Don't. If you want to learn how to play guitar, if you want to learn music, don't learn how to play guitar, and I'll tell you why. But first, coffee. Okay, so where do I start? When I was about to turn 50, I decided in my head, my wife said to me, is there anything you wish you'd spent more time on? And I said, yep, there is, and I'm going to fix it tomorrow. You've heard the story. But in my head, I actually wasn't thinking I want to go learn guitar. I was thinking I want to play music. And in my head, I don't know why, that I knew a guitar was not the place to start. Instead, the place to start was here. I went and bought that one. And it's not a fancy ukulele. And look, there's many reasons, and people might look at this and think it's a toy and whatever, and they might think it's uncool, and that's fine. I'm not the cool guy. If you're here to watch the cool guys, there's other channels. Here's the 3 things. Is it going to be 3? I don't know. It might be 5. Let's say 3. Let's say 3. 3 reasons why. If you want to, 3 reasons why if you want to learn guitar, don't start on a guitar. Start on a ukulele. So recording? Yeah. Okay. Okay. Number 1. That's way too far. Okay. This is the first ukulele I bought. Number 1. I need a tuner first. Where's the tuner? Here you go. I rarely play these now, but I like to have them around. You know, they remind me, because I didn't know it then, but experience has now shown me, having been, I turned 50 in 2020 during COVID, and I didn't know it then, but one of the things that I've been able to learn, look, I'm not the greatest guitarist, I never will be, and I'm not the greatest singer, I never will be, but I'm able to combine the 2 things together, and I know through experience that that's not that common. Not everyone can do that. I've seen some really good musicians who can't do that, and I think what helped me get that is the ukulele, because the ukulele allowed me to learn music before the instrument, because the ukulele is a relatively, in my opinion, a relatively easy instrument to learn and play. Here's the reasons why. So reason number 1. Reason number 1 is the ukulele helps you learn music easier. Quicker? Is that number 1? Let me think about that. Number 1. Okay, so here's reason number 1. It's easier to get started. You have quicker wins earlier, in my opinion. I've seen people trying to learn guitar, and it's difficult. Man, guitar's still difficult. I'm not a great guitarist. I never will be. There's stuff that's still, wow, bar chords. But ukulele's only got 4 strings. There's still chord shapes. Many of the chord shapes are the same style of chord shapes that you do on a guitar. It's just that the shapes sometimes equal a different chord. Simple as that. For those that are trying to learn, for example, a D shape on a ukulele is a G. There's other ones like that. You know, there's an E minor shape which is kind of like a C. Anyway, point is, it got me started quicker. So what it taught me is it taught me how to strum. So the strumming, strumming technique can be taught, can be learned on a ukulele. When you strum an ukulele, you can just simply, the most simple chord and strumming technique on a ukulele is your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the bottom string. There's an E. Sorry, a C. I'm saying there's a C. There's a C chord. How easy. You want to go to an A minor? Middle finger, top string, 2nd fret. There's an A minor. So you can go C to A minor really quick. The same rules apply, of course. Strumming and changing chords in between strumming, the same rules apply in a ukulele that they do in a guitar. It's just it's easier. So that's number one. Number two is that you get wins quicker. You have progression, in my opinion. It was for me when I first started. I was playing a song by the end of the first week. It was probably "You Are My Sunshine, My Only Sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, still take my sunshine away." That's a relatively, and you can see the strumming. There's nothing wrong with that type of strumming. On a ukulele, you don't strum above the sound hole. You strum around the neck. And strumming with your thumb is perfectly fine on an ukulele. The chord shapes, the chords you need on an ukulele are probably C, A minor, a G. A G's the hardest one to learn when you're first starting an ukulele, in my experience. An F, and if you really get clever, a D, and some people do a D like an A chord on a guitar, but a D is also just like that. So, within a short amount of time, you can be playing music, and then you can combine strumming. So that's reason number two. Reason number three is, from my experience, it actually teaches you music, and that's more important, in my opinion. When I decided I wanted to start learning an instrument, I didn't actually want to necessarily learn the instrument. I wanted to play music. Now, I've seen people trying to learn guitar, and it takes them a long time to get to the point where they're playing music. My experience on an ukulele was I was able to play music within the first 3 months. I was able to play, I think Riptide. I reckon I was playing Riptide within 3 months. Lady, running down through the Riptide, taking away to the dark side. Anyway, point is, learning how to strum, learning how to chuck. That's when it's the same muting on a guitar, chucking on a ukulele. There's plenty of good teachers out there. The one that I learned from that on YouTube is Cynthia from Hawaii. I can't think of Cynthia's name, but you'll find her. She's got a great video on learning how to chuck. Chucking. Learning how to chuck. What can I do? Learning how to finger pick at least a little bit. Learning how to finger pick because there's only 4 strings. Learning how different styles of strumming. Learning how to tune a guitar, learning what is tuning. For those interested, it's G-C-E-A. I was right. Goats can eat anything. Goats can eat anything. Learning how to put strings back onto a ukulele. It's a little bit different down this end of the And basically learning how to, you know, hold an instrument. One of the challenges of an ukulele is I've never really put a strap on an ukulele. I do have one ukulele somewhere. It's kind of a toy one, although it was expensive. If you're trying to stand with an ukulele, whoops, here we go. If you're trying to stand, it's a bit harder because you've got to kind of nestle it under your arm. But essentially, I guess the point I'm making here is that spending 12 months on an ukulele, and that's about how long I spent, it also helps with the fingers. Your fingers still require toughening, no question, even though they're nylon strings. It gets you prepared for a guitar, for the transition. So I played for 12 months. I became okay, you know, I started being able to play music, and that was the clincher. That's what kept me motivated. I think if I had started on a guitar, 6 strings, smaller spacing, bigger neck, stretching your fingers, I'm sure I would have got more frustrated. On a ukulele, I had quicker wins or bigger wins earlier on, and I was able to play music, and that's the key. Gave me the opportunity to experience making music way before I learned an instrument, way before. So yeah, if you're wanting to learn guitar, maybe stop. Maybe don't do it. Maybe start here first. Yeah, after 12 months, I bought my first guitar. It was a terrible guitar, I won't mention what it was. And I started on it, and I realised how much transfer there was between the ukulele and the guitar, and I started getting wins really quick. Then I rarely play the ukulele these days, really. That's about it from me. Hope to keep this short and sharp. So the takeaway, if you've been waiting for the sign of when you should learn guitar, maybe this is the one to say, don't learn the guitar just yet. Pick up an ukulele. In Australian dollars, you can buy a really good. This is a good ukulele, and it cost me $250. You know, I've got an ukulele up there. I think, yeah, that one there, that Cordoba, that is my most expensive ukulele. That was like an $800 ukulele, Australian dollars. But you can buy a pretty good ukulele. You can probably go and buy an ukulele for $50, you know, and it will be okay. That's the thing with ukuleles. Anyway, like and subscribe, shit, whatever. I don't know.